God, you guys, it's all happening. I am in a hotel in a squeaky chair. James Spears has been yeeted from the Britney Spears conservatorship. I am flabbergasted. I am at Vid Summit. I've been watching the news go down, and we came on live to just go through the reporting that's come out. Rosengart, I know, is addressing the Free Britney movement from outside of the courthouse steps. So I thank you all for being with me. I cannot believe that this is happening. I am so excited. So I am remotely live. I'm going to do my best to bring up comments as I can. I'm going to kind of break down what we've learned from Twitter today from the coverage of this court hearing. But the big news is that James Spears has been suspended as conservator of Britney Spears' estate. This is a tremendous first step towards an investigation into what he's been up to for the last 13 years and to getting all of those files that we talked about in other content turned over. This is a massive court win for Britney and for her legal team. This has been part of the strategy. Step number one, as I've been saying for the last year, step number one is remove Jamie Spears. And this is the first step to doing that. So I've got a little bit of Rosengart's press conference on so I can keep you guys appraised. It looks like he's just finishing up, and the Free Britney movement is absolutely celebrating out in front of the courthouse. So Rosengart's just finishing up his appearance outside of court. I'm sure that will be on the news this evening. So let us just get right into it. Today I was watching Mr. Beast speak live about YouTube, and he's like, don't have a wandering intro. It just needs to be succinct. And I'm like, we are too excited. We are freaking out. We have White Claw. We have Waterloo. We have a squeaky hotel chair. It doesn't matter. We're here. We're talking about Britney. We're going through what happened in court today, and just yeet. Let's just get into it. Oh, and you're going to have to see my hand going up there because I've got to hit the intros and the outros and the things. You ready to get into it, Law Nerds? Are you ready to do this? I am so fucking excited. Let's go.
Hey there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker, the badass lawyer and everyone's favorite legal commentator. I'm the host of The Emily Show, and I break down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I should warn you, I'm a big fan of the cursey words. This channel is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery.
Okay, you guys, let me know where you're coming in from, what you're drinking. I am in LA. I am here for Vid Summit. I am, learning from the YouTubers of the world, but as much as I love the YouTubers of the world, and I do, I have lots of friends here who I'm sure their talks this afternoon are fantastic. I will catch them on the video replay because I had to come and be with y'all. I did a quick live as the news was breaking over on Instagram, and then rounded up the mods. I was like, do we ride? And the mods are like, we ride. And we were all like, so we don't have court documents yet. Clearly, Judge Penny's ruling was just made today. And so we aren't going to know a lot until later. We are going to know what we've seen being reported on Twitter, and that's what we're going to cover briefly this afternoon so I can talk about kind of what the next steps are and what I think will happen. I'm so excited for Britney. This is what her legal team wanted. This is what they have been asking for. Their motions were granted. They won. They won big. They won really big today. And that is a tremendous thing. So thank you to the 3,000 of you that are in here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. To those coming in from Facebook, I see you too. Hello. It is Yeet Day. Happy Yeet Day to everybody. We're just, as I said over on Instagram, I don't know what happened, and I started calling Rosengart Rosendaddy, and now we're here. I think I granted a motion on Instagram to just refer to him as Rosendaddy. Look, if we can call Salt Salty, we can call Rosengart Rosendaddy with peace and love and no disrespect, because he fucking handled it today in court. I have been following Britney Law Army over on Twitter. They have been doing tremendous work. The thing that I like is being able to see how they're interpreting what's going on through the eyes of lawyers. They tend to report straight from what's being said in court. They were in court today. They were in downtown LA early and have done tremendous work. And that's where I'm getting a lot lot of my information from. So if this information is helpful, if you're on Twitter, go ahead and follow Britney Law Army. They have done a tremendous job. They are at Britney Law Army. They have way more followers on Twitter than I am, but they've got it handled today. So, they have just covered the last few things going on in court, but I'm going to talk about what happened and what came out in this court hearing today before we back round to the fact that the petition to suspend James Spears was granted. All of the kicking and screaming by, well, not literal kicking and screaming, but like legal kicking and screaming by Dad Spears' legal team today did not work. So, and then I've got to get ready for my talk tomorrow at Vid Summit, and then I've got to get back to Vid Summit, which, because everything happens at once in my life all the time, always, because why wouldn't it all happen? But I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Okay, so the petition to suspend James Spears was granted. They have set a future court date to hear the petition or to hear his removal. This is 2 steps, but this means he is not in control in anything today. He can't do anything. He is suspended. He cannot control anything. He is going to have to turn over the documents, and I think that includes all of his communications with his attorneys, because his right to attorney-client privilege is not his right. It's the right of the conservator of the estate, and he is the suspended conservator of the estate. There will be a hearing to remove him. I think he should resign. Like, do the right thing. You have been suspended. Lay down and go away. I think he should resign. I think Vivian Thoren in court indicated that she is going to appeal the decision, which I think is a terrible plan, because this decision is soundly within the court's discretion, and it only has to be based on what is in Britney Spears' best interest. It is not a reach for the court to say, oh, Britney said, I would like my dad not to be conservator. Therefore, it's in Britney's best interest that her dad's not the conservator. And her dad filed a petition to terminate, saying, well, she doesn't need any conservator. And so if she doesn't need any conservator, it's not a reach that she doesn't need her dad as the conservator. So there aren't really grounds here. Let's go through the latest tweets from Britney Law Army to get this information. So let's see. These are the latest updates from Britney Law Army. They said that the court was on a break. So after the court came back from break, this is what went down. What's next? Rosengart said a logical, reasonable, organic termination. This means that this is the first step towards terminating James Spears as the conservator of the state, and then terminating the entire conservatorship. Next, we're seeing that they said to all of you out there making noise, that's everybody on the street outside of the court, you need to know that we hear you in the courtroom. You have done your duty as human beings. You have been the driving force behind Britney's freedom from her cruel and abusive father. Next hearing, November 12th, 2021. There's going to be a lot of court documents that come before that, I would imagine. They next said Rosengart asked if Penny would expect termination by stipulation, and Penny said yes. That means that Dad Spears can agree to the termination, in effect resigning. And I think that is a great question by Rosengart, saying, hey, if we disagree, can you just go? So I'm really, really hoping that that's what happens. Next, they said termination will occur between now and November 12th. So he is suspended as of now, but the termination will happen between now and the next court date. So at the next court date, I expect what we'll see is the appointing of a temporary conservator of the estate and an extending of the temporary papers for Jody Montgomery, because she's the temporary conservator of the person. Dad Spears is still the conservator of the person. If he is terminated or removed, then they will extend the temporary conservator of the person with Jody Montgomery and extend the temporary conservator of the estate with the new appointment, which will probably happen at that next November court date. That's really not that far away. They then said Vivian Thoreen requests an appealable decision. This was 36 minutes ago, tweeted. Vivian is going to appeal the decision to suspend Jamie as conservators. Judge Penny, it is not appealable under the statute. So that was 35 minutes ago. Look, as I've been setting up the live stream, we're getting my live reacts to this. Under the statute, it's discretionary with the judge, which means naturally it would not be appealable because this is within the judge's discretion. You can't appeal a lot of types of discretionary decisions. So Judge Penny said, hey, Vivian, I'm sick of your shit. No, this is my discretion, which means I get to do what I want. I do what I want. And you know what I'm doing? I'm suspending your client. Well, there it is. Okay, next tweet. Penny ruled under the statute. Penny ruled under a statute that prevents Vivian from appealing. It's about time, Judge Penny. I mean, way to do it. Way to show up to court today. I mean, cheers. I think if Britney hadn't spoke on the 23rd, we wouldn't be here, but cheers. We're finally fucking here. Woo! And good on the judge. I want to see the minute orders, and I will probably order the transcript from this hearing because per the tweets, Rosengart threw James Spears under the bus, backed it up, and rolled over him again. And I would love to see the whole transcript, and we'll just go through it. Maybe we'll just do a dramatic reading. Ooh, we'll do a reenactment reading of the transcript of the hearing. So I will absolutely order that when it's available, if it's publicly available. So other than that, I am very, very interested to see what section she ruled under. I'm sure it's the section that Rosengart asked for. We'll pull it up and evaluate it once we get the minute orders for sure when we do the legal. This is just the literally live reacts to all of the things because you're going to see the news saying that he's been completely terminated. He hasn't been terminated yet. He's been suspended, but I expect they will be able to come together and agree on that termination to save, to save little James's feelings further embarrassment. This chair's fucking killing me. Things you don't think to ask for in your hotel. It's like, how loud's the chair? Loud. It's too loud. It's too loud for a live stream. Okay. Britney Law Army then tweeted, Dad Spears is gone and will never come back. Yeet, yeet, yeet. James Spears is yeeted and not to return. Vivian wants the court investigator to interview Britney Spears. Judge Penny, no. Vivian is still fighting. Look. Vivian's job as a lawyer is to fight for her client. That is her job. So I am going to try to not besmirch her from doing her job. It is her job to fight for her client. It is her job to vigorously represent James Spears. However, Vivian's job is not really loyalty to James. It's loyalty to the position of conservator of the estate because Britney is paying your bills, not James. The money is coming from Britney, not her father. Your loyalty is to the best interest of Britney Spears. And that is the duty. So though I will try not to besmirch, I think Vivian needs to check herself and remember that her loyalty is not to Dad Spears. Her loyalty is not to protecting herself. Her loyalty is to the position of the conservator of the estate, and that is no longer James Spears. He has been suspended, which in my mind means Vivian should have said, okay, it's time to stop because now my client is changing. My client is no longer James Spears. My client is going to be whoever is the next conservator of the estate because, again, she does not represent James. She represents the position of conservator. And James isn't the conservator anymore because he's been suspended. So Vivian, I know you've had 13 years of being James Spears' mouthpiece, but your job is not to protect James's reputation. Your job is to do what's in the best interest of Britney, because that's the role of the conservator of the estate. I'm sure Rosengart has some strong words for you too, but those are probably said in the office behind your back, so it's fine. What's next? Vivian told Judge Penny that her appointment of Zabel was wrong. look, Viv, boo, no, you don't get to keep fighting with the court because your duty is now being placed in the wrong spot. It is time to take a step back and take a deep breath. Maybe a whiskey tonight. Maybe that, because James is not your client. I know he might be your bestie. That's all pure speculation and sass. Let's keep going. Vivian wants the court investigator to interview Britney Spears. No. Vivian told Judge Penny that her appointment of Zabel was wrong, which means Zabel must have been appointed as temporary conservator of the estate today, but we'll see it in the minute orders when they come out. I will share those on social when they come out. Instagram, Twitter, at the Emily D. Baker. I speak tomorrow, so I'm going to have to just do that when we can do that. What's next? Judge Penny, I've made my ruling. Vivian told Judge Penny that her appointment of Zabel was wrong. Rosengart, that statement is disrespectful to the court. Judge Penny, I've made my ruling. I said what I said. I get the feeling from this little interaction that's been tweeted that Vivian's very used to this judge going along with what Vivian asked to do. And today, the judge went along with what Rosengart asked to do. And Vivian does not like not being the teacher's pet anymore and is trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And that's what that little statement on Twitter seems to say to me. The next one, Vivian, you've lost, it's over, he's gone, Britney is safe. Yeah, Vivian, when everyone says you're dead, lay down. I see Anika in the chat saying Vivian's afraid of something. Yeah, Vivian's afraid of the client files speculation. Vivian's afraid of the client files getting turned over because she doesn't have attorney-client protection from whatever the fuck she knew James Spears was doing. And she is really, really mad. Also, this is a step in the right direction towards Vivian and her law firm not getting paid their $1.3 million, because I bet you, not a statement of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if James Spears has difficulty making those payments himself now that all of their fees are going to be in question. I wonder if Vivian and her law firm, Holland and Knight, are going to try to resign as the law firm representing the conservator of the estate when James is formally terminated. Like, won't that be interesting if Vivian's just like, well, if it's not James, we're out. Isn't that so interesting? Because again, why such a strong duty of loyalty to James and not to the position? Okay, so then the next thing, Penny denied Ingham's petition to make Jody Montgomery permanent conservator of the person. We knew that was coming. That motion needed to be heard. They're going to, I'm sure, keep Jody Montgomery on as the temporary conservator of the person, because the job now is to wind up this conservatorship. So there's no need to make a permanent conservator. You just extend the temporary papers one or two more times through the end of the year. We've already heard that Rosengart wants to end this conservatorship in the fall, and it seems like Judge Penny might be on board. If for no other reason, then like from Judge Penny's perspective, this is not a judicial reasoning, but we're all humans. Is Judge Penny getting to the point where she's like, well, the death threats would just stop? Like, if we just end, like, I can be done with this too. Like, we can all be done with this. And if we don't need to protect Britney, if she is good, if she's all good, then it's time to let it all go. And I hope that that's where Judge Penny's head's at. So Penny denied Ingham's petition to make Jody Montgomery permanent conservator. No big deal. They'll extend the temporary papers and start winding up the conservatorship. Probably the easiest way for the court to do it. Penny said, we'll continue all the fee petitions. I'm not saying I said that was going to happen, but I said that was going to happen. It's like I've worked in courts for 15 years. I don't know. This is the most vid summity thing ever. We're literally drinking the concert-sized White Claw, and I've got to finish up my slides for tomorrow, and we're just chatting Britney because I just wanted to be with the law nerds. I love all of you, all 5,000 of you, almost 6,000 of you. Like and subscribe and do the YouTube things. We're going to cover this in a moderately more professional way later. Don't worry about it. Okay. Penny's continuing all the fee petitions. Natch. They're going to fight over those. And now Rosengart's going to get to argue that say it with me, law nerds. Rosengart's already laying the foundation that James Spears is going to have to pay for particularly all of this infighting with regard to kicking and screaming about him being removed. So now we get to fight over the fee petitions for all of the inset motions that we've just been dealing with. So all the back and forth, because I got the feeling that Dad Spears' team wanted to have the last word in court. They were going to file until the last fucking moment. It was like, no, we got the last word. No, we got the... Do you all know somebody like this? Like we all know people like this that are like, no. So, Rosengart files and then James has to file again. And it was like, it just felt a little bit like the Toddy Westbrook defamation suit where it's just so many filings. And it felt like he was just trying to have the last word. So now Rosengart, or in the future, Rosengart's going to get to ask the court, look, all of those motions that we were fighting back and forth over when we said it's in Britney's best interest to remove James Spears, all of that, James Spears needs to absolutely pay for himself. And the things that they're going to be arguing about in that 12th accounting. James Spears, you get to pay all your shit yourself. Hope you've been saving your money. We'll get to the money in a minute. Rosengart pointed it out in court, but that we haven't finished live reacting to the rest of Judge Penny's rulings because court just ended. Court just ended about probably 45 minutes ago. So all the fee petitions got continued. There were no objections to Montgomery's petitions for fees. Rosengart, we have no objection. Viv, I object. Of course you do, Vivian. There are no objections to Miss Montgomery's fee petition. Rosengart, we have no objection. Vivian, I object. Penny. I hope that's not actually what they said, but if and when we can get these transcripts, we'll see. I'm a little baffled by your objection, Miss Thoreen. No one has objected, so no. Vivian, stop while you're ahead. Well, you're already behind. Just stop. Okay, the next tweet says, Ingham asked Penny for his fees. All the fee petitions got put over, Ingham. Don't ask. Don't ask. Don't ask. All the fee petitions got put over. That means all 3 that you filed, well, 4, including the Loeb and Loeb. Okay, Ingham. Yeah, I see. Mother 4 cats. Read the room, Vivian. Read the room, Vivian. Read the room, Ingham. Read the room. Ingham asked Penny for his fees and Loeb and Loeb's fees. James P. Spears was supposed to pay their fees via an order. Judge Penny, Thoreen, why have these fees not been paid? Vivian, my client just got suspended. Penny, that was not my question. These petitions for fees are passed. Holy shit. So all of the stuff for Ingham's fees, which go way back, had been approved. There was no questions about them. All of those were approved. So it was like, hey, we approved all these petitions. Why the fuck hasn't your client paid them? Well, my client just got suspended. No. Why didn't you pay them when you were supposed to? And the judge is like, that wasn't my question. Ooh, I would have loved to have seen Judge Penny fighting with Vivian Thoreen in court today. That would have been fantastic. Also, could you hear like, Britney's daddy just got suspended. Okay, enough sass, not enough sass. Maybe not. Britney Law Army then said Britney can sleep easy tonight. Her voice has been restored. The court has finally listened. Her attorney is a firebrand. Her attorney is a fucking badass. Again, I know not everybody loves prosecutors. It's totally fine, but there is a way. There is a way that prosecutors are in court, good ones at least, and that's based on the reporting I'm seeing from Britney Law Army, and I do very much trust their reporting. What we're seeing is a prosecutor being a prosecutor. He is standing in court and saying, that's not the issue. This. No. This. No, you're not going to shake a prosecutor off of their purpose. And his purpose was to give Britney back her voice and yeet Dad Spears, and he did. That happened. We love him. I imagine he was a very good federal prosecutor. So then he went out to the rally and talked to the Free Britney people. I'm sure that will be on the news and everything this evening. It will be live. It was streamed on a bunch of different YouTube channels. I'm sure it will be findable, but he thanked the Free Britney movement and talked about Britney getting her voice back. And I think public perception might have helped shift this and might have helped give Britney the strength to stand up in court and say, no, I want this. June 23rd changed everything. I want this to be a public hearing, is what she said on June 23rd. And she said it and she meant it. I want this to be public. And that public hearing, her speaking with her whole chest saying, this has to stop. I want the people involved in doing this to me in jail. Rosengart was like, I heard you. I heard you. I've got you. Let's look at some of the things he said in court today, just because they are delicious. Let me update Twitter and see if anything else happened. No, 21 minutes ago, Britney Law Army, I hope that you're out having a whiskey by the courthouse down. There aren't any really great places to drink out, or at least when I was working there weren't any great places to drink right there, but the Brass Monkey's not that far away. But I don't know, that maybe is a little law schooly. All right, let's look at some of the things that they shared, because Rosengart was on fire in court today. Oh yeah, that's not helpful. That's right in front of this camera. Sorry, y'all. But we're streaming remotely. We're doing our best. Let's see. Rosengart said to the court, let me be clear. Britney does not want to settle with her father. She does not want to mediate with her father. She does not want any further delay from her father. My client wants to be heard. It's not about anyone else. Judge Petty, my order suspending Jamie Spears shall remain in full force and effect until a hearing on removal. That's why it's so important that he asked if they will approve removal by stipulation, so there doesn't have to be a actual hearing on his removal, that they will be able to agree and file the petition, and then he will just be effectively removed when the court signs that petition. We will be waiting with bated breath to see that filed in court, and I'm sure that will happen. There will be lots of conversation between the lawyers. And after they came for each other's necks in court today, that'll be a super fun conversation. But lawyers are able to do that. You can go hard in court and still have a conversation behind the scenes, or at least you should be able to. The thing that I didn't like that Vivian said really was, where is it? I'm looking for it in the tweets, when she was questioning the truth of Britney's statements and questioning the fact that because Britney was not cross-examined, that it's not, that we're not sure. Let's see. I'm looking for it in the tweet. Rosengart, the court is required to do what's in my client's best interest. Britney will be incredibly distraught if Jamie Spears remains one more day, and that doesn't matter if Vivian believes Britney's testimony. Vivian said Britney Spears was not cross-examined. She said this, the audacity to say this in court. Britney Spears was not cross-examined by the court during her testimony. How can we determine the veracity? How can we determine the truth of what Britney said on June 23rd and July 14th? Really? Really, Viv? That's what you're going with? And I wonder if that was the moment that the court was just like, what? Like, the point of conservatorship is to do what the conservatee and what is in the conservatee's best interest. How is questioning Britney, her standing up to what's in the best interest of the of Britney, of the conservatee? How is essentially trying to call her a liar in court helping? It's just so gross to me. It's so gross to me. And that's really when Rosengart went off. So Vivian then said, Mr. Spears has served faithfully as conservator for 13 years. Rosengart, no, he is not. No, he is not. No, he is not. No, he has not. Rosengart then says what Thoreen wants, and this is funny because Thoreen was talking, Rosengart cut her off and then kept going, which is great because then you just step over the other person's time and redirect the court, because what Vivian was on about was If the court grants termination, Jamie fully intends to comply with the requirements, but, you know, he's still Britney's father besides everything else. At this point, Rosengart interrupted and said it's about what she wants, and then apologized to the court to remain respectful, because interrupting is hard on the court and the court reporter. But also, Jamie and Vivian were not in court today in person, and Rosengart was. And it makes it a little easier to interrupt somebody on Zoom when you're the one standing in front of the court. And I think that that's a really important strategic decision. Rosengart showed up, and I think that that matters tremendously. You can't get your point across the same way on screen as you can in person, especially, like, what are you going to do on Zoom if another lawyer standing in court that the judge can hear better cuts you off? What are you going to do? Be like, excuse me, Your Honor, I'm still here. Pick me. Like, what are you going to do? I think him being in court was absolutely essential, and I'm glad that he was. I think that it was an error for Vivian not to be, but I think it's also an error to try to come into court and call Britney a liar. So, you know, there's that too. Or question whether Britney was a liar. So Vivian was saying that Mr. Spears had served faithfully for 13 years, got cut off by Rosengart. No, he is not. And then Rosengart took it and ran with it. Thurene was the status quo delay in mediation. Rosengart said the court is required to do what's in my client's best interest, and then said Jamie thinks he deserves more of his daughter's money for being literally the world's worst dad. He said that shit in court. And then he said, well, I'll just read it all again. Jamie thinks he deserves more of his daughter's money for being literally the world's worst dad, for rendering abuse and cruelty, for listening in on her private conversations. Rosengart, her most intimate conversations with her kids, her boyfriend, and lawyer. And then Rosengart said, let me be clear, she does not want to settle. My client wants to be heard. Judge Penny suspended him. Vivian disputes all the allegations made by Britney's team and the New York Times. Vivian says he cites the New York Times article. That's not evidence. He knows better. The ship has sailed at this point, Vivian. And then they got back after break and dealt with all the other motions, and that was it. Once we get the transcripts, once we get the minute orders from the court, I will go through all the minute orders. But Rosengart came to court and he was like, today's mission is to yeet Dad Spears, and I will not stop until we eat Dad Spears. He also went into the fact that Vivian filed a late motion to try to discredit the person that they had recommended as the successor conservator. And so Vivian was trying to point out that he wasn't qualified. And Rosengart was like, and how is James Spears qualified? Because, you know, he has a domestic violence restraining order, is reported to be an alcoholic, does not have great financial acumen. Like, how is he qualified? And so actually brought back the same kind of line of argument that was in his last motion that we talk about in the last two videos that are up on this channel, including the video that went up today that kind of summarizes all of this. So Dad Spears has been yeeted. Somebody get the man a trophy that says world's worst dad. Where's the Free Britney movement? Free Britney movement. Not that I would ever dox anybody, and not that doxing is okay. I'm sure some people know where James Spears lives. Maybe getting like little world's worst dad trophies and like lining them up on his lawn. I mean, it's not vandalism. Maybe trespassing. I mean, I would never recommend trespassing. It's theoretically, we should Photoshop them and put them on thumbnails or something. Anyway, I'm going to try to get to some questions. It's been a half an hour. That's all we know today. And it's all we need to know today. Dad Spears, yeeting successful. He's been yoted. I can't. I'm so fucking excited. And I hope you guys are excited too. I mean, this conservatorship, as it is gone, and as we learn more and more, and as documents become unsealed, we are really seeing how much Britney was failed. I mean, Rosengart has been in this thing for a matter of months. Like, she was allowed to get her own attorney in July. It's September. Like, that is some fucking work. And he has not taken his foot off the gas. And I am just, I am so excited. So let's get to questions. We need to get to questions. I have questions. You have questions. We have questions. because don't we always? I'm going to try to tap on these. I'm going to try to not. Look, where I tap to pull the questions up is in the same place where the camera is, and I can't just get used to it. So that is what it is. We will try to do the best, and I'm going to go to the back and try to get to all the super chats. Thank you for your generosity. I really, Law Nerds, you don't know how much I love you. I'm going to be talking about you tomorrow in my talk, and it's one of the things at Vid Summit that other YouTube creators ask me about a lot. They're like, we need to talk about your community. I'm like, yeah, they're the fucking greatest. Be jealous. Be jealous, because the Law Nerds are amazing. Okay, question. Are the NDAs now voided? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, but NDAs don't protect you in legal proceedings. So if people that work at Black Box were brought in to be deposed, they can't say, oh, there's an NDA, can't talk about it. NDAs generally do not keep you from participating in legal process. It does stop you from writing like a tell-all book. Hopefully we'll get one from Britney. So question, as of now, do all the books get handed over? The files should start getting handed over, because it sounds like the temporary conservator was appointed, because Vivian wouldn't have said, and this is again coming from Britney's Law Army's amazing Twitter, they were doing the Lord's work today, and we appreciate them so much, but they said that Vivian, where is it? Vivian told Penny that her appointment of Zabel was wrong. Zabel is the proposed temporary successor conservator of the estate. And so with that, it sounds to me like he was appointed as the temporary successor conservator due to the suspension, because there has to be a conservator, and James has been suspended. So I would imagine that the file transfer will begin. Let the games begin, and may the odds be ever in your favor. All right, let me keep going on bringing some of these up. And thank you, Kibby, for the reminder. Question, can Viv be terminated? Yes, the successor conservator of the state can terminate her. I wonder if she'll just resign. We'll see what happens. Either way, I imagine Vivian, Thoren, and H&K will not be the attorneys for the conservator of the estate much longer. It's clear to me, just by looking at what's going on in court, that Vivian feels that her loyalty is to James Spears when her loyalty should be to the position. And I get that after 13 years, that's going to be hard, but we'll see. Shauna was saying Rosengart even wore a pink tie. He sure did. I mean, I wore my Britney shirt today. We are channeling it. I imagine that Sloan, who was in downtown LA, and Jake Yonsei, and that surprise witness, and all of the other really key members of the Free Britney movement who have been saying this for years, were in downtown LA celebrating. And I know that, like, Caleb Marshall over at the Fitness Marshall is going to be celebrating. He and I have DM'd a bit about this conservatorship and what's going on. And so many of you feel invested in seeing humanity restored to an individual. Yes, a huge pop star. Yes, someone who's touched a lot of our lives with her music or her spirit or her story, but probably not Crossroads, but maybe. I mean, if that's you, leave one in the chat. I want to know if Crossroads is the thing that moved you, but it's watching someone use their voice to speak up over and over and over, and fail truly over and over and over, and not be heard, and not stop fighting, and eventually have the win that Britney had today. I think all of us are a little exhausted and elated, and watching what's been going on in court the last year has been discouraging and disheartening, and frankly a bit sad. And I'm sad that it took so long, but I'm glad that it's finally happened. Does that make sense? So D. Marie pointed out what was brought up on multiple Twitter accounts, but no, Vivian did not talk about Britney's best interest, because Vivian seemed like she thought that she was there to protect Dad Spears, and that is not her job. Oh, as I touched the iPad to pull up all of the questions, I'm just shaking my face, but it's fine. It's like, we're not that LA, like we're not totally shaking. We're doing our best. And Rose and Daddy was only on the job a little over 2 months. Amazing. She finally had a lawyer she deserves. She finally had somebody that believed her. And I just wonder if, and this is pure speculation, attorneys who have done their jobs for a long time can become jaded. It has happened to me. You see it. You see people become jaded in what they're doing. And if Rosengart is a conservator, if this is what he, not Rosengart, if Ingham, if this is what he does over and over and over, day in and day out, I just wonder if he got to a point where he's like, yeah. Like, this is what I hear from conservatives all the time. Like, wah, wah, wah. And it, like, in one ear, out the other. I just wonder at what point he just couldn't hear it. And didn't fight for it. I mean, he did file motions. He did start to try to get rid of Dad Spears. He did not do it the way Rosengart did it. That's for sure. So it is just wild. To the amazing mods who realized that on StreamYard, I would not be able to continue to pull up super chats. Thank you so much for capturing those so I can try to acknowledge and answer them. To everyone who did super chat, know that I appreciate you so much. The reason I wanted to ride tonight was not just to break this down, because I mean, all of you can read Twitter and I get that, but was so that we could be together as law nerds and just say, this is what we're seeing and how excited are we that we're finally here. So Nicole said, will the insurance company that holds the bond pursue criminal charges if he committed fraud? I don't know if the bond company will. I think there's probably already an investigation being requested, and it'll just depend on how Rosengart proceeds. So I don't know, but the bond, there will have to be a bond holdover until all of the documents are done. So it's not just going to release the bond now that he's suspended. And I believe the bond is in the $47 million range. So there's a lot that can still happen with that. For those of you that are like, bond, what? As the conservator of the estate, he was bonded to make sure that he didn't do anything that could damage the financial standing of the estate. And as this investigation goes, they might want to pursue that route depending on what has happened. I think there are different types of inappropriateness. Rosengart talked about this in court today too. Let me see if I can find the tweet. He talked about how frustrated Britney was with the fact that Dad Spears was paying himself more than she was getting paid monthly, and actually called it out. Let's see. Britney, where is it? I am not seeing it. I will retweet it on Twitter. I'll go back and find it. I don't want you guys to sit here and be like, oh, Emily's still looking through Twitter, but I'll find it. Here it is. He said that Zabel is highly qualified. That's the successor temporary conservator. And then Rosengart said, you know what really makes my client upset? That her father, who does nothing, isn't a business or talent manager, who is abusive and cruel and toxic, takes more money from her estate each month than he allows her to have. Dad Spears, they're on to you. Okay, next super chat from Peggles in Paradise. And Rose and Daddy was only on the job for 2 months. Yes, piss and vinegar. Are we going to be able to listen in November? Probably not. I don't think that they're going to reinstate the RAA, but I don't know if there will be as much intense scrutiny in November. I think for a lot of people, they will see headlines that says he's been terminated or removed, and they'll be like, oh, good, Britney's free, we're done. There's still a lot of court to happen. And I'm waiting for the forensic accounting. Like, my nosy ass wants to know. I'm not done. Like, we're going to cover this as long as stuff is happening in court, because I want to see what comes next, and I want to see what information comes out next. So we'll see what happens in November. Bree Patrick, thank you so much. So is it unreasonable to think Britney's Rose references for a year plus were a nod to Rosengart? I don't think she knew Rosengart existed a year ago. I don't, because I don't have any evidence for that. I don't know what she thought Project Rose was. We'll see. I mean, I would love it if that was the case. I just don't know if she knew. Like a year ago, I don't think any of us believed she was going to get to hire her own attorney because of how often she was getting turned down. Could he have been working in secret to spring this? No, he couldn't have been. There are some ethical things there where she was represented, so he can't solicit work. He can't work with her behind her attorney's back. All of that would have been unethical. Most prosecutors, not all, but most prosecutors, ethics come first. So I think he would have probably followed the proper procedure, and also the best interest of Britney is to follow the proper procedures to do things. So he moved so quickly, he did. But the first goal was to suspend James Spears, and the law allows for it in her best interest. So it's not hard. He just did it. This chair is doing me in. I make a motion to nominate Dr. Badass to play Rosengart in the reenactment. I mean, he's got the gray stripy hair. I will definitely ask him to do that. Amy, thank you for the super chat. Motion to create a dope ass virtual law nerd seal of approval award that Emily can post on certain lawyers' socials. I don't know about that, but I think it's funny. It feels a little too Jeffree Star approved. And again, when I haven't worked against attorneys, I can like what they do in one case and not like what they do in other cases. But we should have a seal of approval for motions and stuff like we love this motion, we don't love this motion, because you never know. You never know, especially in civil. You never know if lawyers are doing what their clients are asking or if they're just jackassing. Like sometimes you don't know. Grammar said Queen Britney in the flight station on Instagram makes my day. I used to work on prop planes and I'm all about the relaxing hum of rotating props. I have not seen her Instagram because I've been getting ready to go live, so I'll go look. Piss and Vinegar said daddy's in the corner and needing someone to clean him down. I mean, I am sure the conversations Dad Spears is having this evening are fascinating. Deborah Wallace said, no more Dad Spears, please. That man does not deserve the dad title. I mean, Deborah, that is a very, very fair point. And the reason I started calling him that was to differentiate when we were talking about sometimes Jamie, sometimes James, sometimes Dad, then Lynn, and then Jamie Lynn. And it was just easier to kind of short name everybody. But I will take that under advisement. It was asked by Megan Sue, why was Ingham even there? He's shady. Ingham had motions on calendar. Ingham does have legitimate fee petitions on calendar. I know a lot of you don't like him. I totally get it. He had a legitimate reason for being there with the fee petitions that were supposed to be paid by JS and weren't paid by JS. So that was supposed to be done today and wasn't, or was done before today and wasn't. So he actually had motions on calendar. Heart of Inspiration, did you catch the Rosengart said early that JPS did a 180 after they received discovery from Camp Britney? Yes, I did see that. And yes, I think it's coming to light how much the shit's already out of the horse. And I think that team conservatorship is afraid. And I think that they should be. If they were doing unethical things, they should be afraid. If they didn't do anything wrong, they shouldn't be afraid. So if you did nothing wrong, then you've got nothing to hide from. Trust the process, Dad Spears. If you didn't do anything wrong, just trust the process. You've been wanting your daughter to trust the process for 13 years. And look where that got her. Motion to modify Rosengart to Rosen King. I have a second and a third. Anyone else? Thank you, Amy. Thank you, LM, for the yeeted. Alicia said, I said this would be the best early birthday gift I could get. Well, my birthday's tomorrow. We're having a hashtag Free Britney party tonight. Happy birthday, Alicia. Happy birthday. And yes, Free Britney. Who knew this was going to come through today? I'm not going to be able to settle down. My voice is going to just sound like this tomorrow. It just is what it is. Question for when you get to questions. Thank you, Danielle. If and when this goes to a removal hearing for Jamie, who pays for his lawyers, Jamie or the estate? It should be Jamie. And Rosengart's going to keep fighting on that front. Thank you, Karen, for the super sticker. Megan Sue said, so who's in charge of the estate? It should be the temporary conservator of the estate, which should be Zabel. So it sounds like Zabel got appointed, should be Zabel. Amelia said, Starbucks caramel macchiato plus Emily D. Baker, best morning ever. I'm as good as Starbucks. Thank you. I'll take it. Thanks for keeping me company while I'm at work. You're welcome. Octo Nation, what's up, Octo? Rose and Daddy for the win. Yes. Megan Sue said, I cried. Can she now fire Black Box? I mean, she could. Yeah, well, the new conservator can look at what needs to be done. And our Jamie's attorney is now paid by Britney, not moving forward. So Viv was gross today. I agree. Mixed feelings said, go ahead and cry, girl. We did it. I mean, I'm still kind of floored. Cynthia said, congrats. Have fun at the rest of Vid Summit. I will. Thank you to the mods. You guys, huge thank yous to the mods. And a lot of these are comments, not questions. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get to all of them because I want to get to a few more questions. So thank you for the super chats. I'm going to get to a few more if I see them. Does this mean Britney will get to see more of her kids? I don't know what her custody arrangement is like, but it means that the hurdle for James Spears to block that is removed. It means that nobody should be leveraging her kids against her. And it also means that the person, I mean, there's a domestic violence protective order to keep James away from her kids, but it seems that he hasn't been in her life. So I think that is, I hope that is possible. So we just won't know. We just won't know for a little bit. And I don't know if they'll go back into, family law court to modify anything. I think that they probably won't right now. If the conservatorship ends, they may go back into family law court and ask to change things. I don't know if that's in the best interest of the kids. I don't know. I think there's probably some room there to modify whatever they have going on, or at least have more time to visit. So, Emily, you need some honey cough drops. I have some throat spray that I'm going to go hit up after this for sure. Question, how long do they have to give the documents to the new conservator? It should be pretty quick. Those things can take a little bit of time. I imagine if it's not done expeditiously, that we will see a filing in court complaining about it. And we will know, like, Rosengard's just going to run everything through the court. Can only green people comment? No, anyone can comment. I am trying to get to all of them. It is on subscribers mode just so that the chat doesn't fly so fast. So if you've already subscribed, then everyone can comment. I want Britney to go buy some Starbucks and sushi and buy as much as she wants. I do too. I want Britney to do whatever she wants and go get some Skechers. Like, just do you, girl. Question, do you think Penny will have taken the first step of allowing Britney's selection of attorney had it not been for the leaked testimony? I don't know. I think that the external pressure, and I think Britney's testimony mattered. I don't know if it being public, it being public mattered. I just don't know how much it mattered to the judge's decision. So was it more that everyone knew, or was it more what Britney said? And I just don't know. I don't think it hurt. I don't think it hurt at all. So Britt T said John Zabel's been appointed. And that's what I thought. I don't know how far behind I am in the chat, but yes. Just saw a fan cam for Rosengard and I am howling. I'm not surprised. Rosengard is going to have a very big fan club, which again doesn't hurt for his business either. Will Britney get back her memorabilia that James has? I don't know anything about that. I'm sure she can ask. So it should. That should happen. So Luke asked, will Sam Ingham not get paid now? No, he should still get paid. So he absolutely should still get paid. It's not improper. His fee petitions go back to 2018. So yeah, he should get paid. Even though I don't always like everything that he did, he still should get paid for the job that he did. And there's no reason for Dad Spears to not pay him. I just wonder if that was oversight or if that was leverage. I have a lot of questions about that. Question, did Dad Spears violate restraining order by recording the kids? I don't know what the restraining order says. It's very possible. It's a good question, Jolene. It's very possible. We've not seen that restraining order. So I don't know. I am concerned that this is all about making money on Britney's name and their lack of concern for what's best for her. I hope that this is getting towards the end of that. So hopefully this is getting towards the end of that for sure. Let's see. Nola Ray said, I can't believe how much I've cried and laughed so hard over the last couple of hours. This is such a great feeling after years and years. So it's finally in Britney's favor. It is finally in Britney's favor. And I'm just. Did you see Britney posted on her Instagram flying? I haven't seen her Instagram today. Again, I've been at a conference and I've been trying to cover or keep up with this. And then I hopped on live with y'all before I finish my slides for tomorrow. I have lozenges. I know I don't sound great. Question, will Vivian face sanctions if she was aware of Dad Spears' actions? Crystal, I would have to think on it. There are... some of the things would be outside court and could face other civil things, but not necessarily court-imposed sanctions. But we will see. I think there's a lot of room here, and I don't want to speculate because I don't want people to get excited that one thing or the other might happen. Question, can they go after Dad Spears for illegal recording? I think that they probably will. Absolutely. Is it possible for H&K to be investigated for ethics violations? If they know about the recordings, it absolutely is. They can be reported to Britney can report them to the state bar. It depends on what evidence they have and what they choose to do with it next. There's a lot of what ifs in that, and we'll see. What happens if Britney's dad destroys evidence? That would come back before the court, and that would be a giant problem. And he could be, that would be a violation of a court order at this point, I imagine. And you can face jail time for that, among other sanctions. So JS say only letter sounds and kind of sounds like Jay's perhaps applicable because he's a dick. Okay, Captain, we the barmy. Any chance Andrew Wallet gets clawed back in? TX Cat, I think the only reason we would see Andrew Wallet referenced again is if he gets deposed about what the fuck was going on, and I think that can happen. So, question, the guy from Black Box documentary, what happens to him since I'm sure he broke some NDAs? He did probably break some NDAs, but who's going to go after him for breaking those NDAs? Like, who's going to sue him for breaking the NDA? Is James Spears going to sue him? Because if the NDA, it depends on the NDAs, but if the NDAs were from the conservator of the estate, James Spears, he's no longer the conservator of the estate. So the new conservator probably isn't going to sue over it because it's evidence that they needed. So it might be an issue without any impact, if that makes sense. Is there a world where Jamie Spears faces criminal charges? Yes. I just don't think we're there yet. I think there's a long way to go. There's still a lot of road left in this. The first step was always to get him out of control of the money, and there's still a very long legal road to go here. Question, is her dad under a duty to preserve? Yes, he is, and so would the attorneys. What would happen? There could be a lot of repercussions, including civil sanctions, including court sanctions, including contempt of court, potentially sanctions. Words are hard. So yes, there could be a problem. Where do we think K-Fed is in all of this? I honestly have no idea. Hopefully he's happy for her and wants her to be happy. Because wouldn't you want the mother of your children to be happy? I hope that he does. Question, do you think all of this would have been over if Rosengard had been our attorney early on? Gosh, it's really hard to say and speculate. I think things probably would have gone different if a civil attorney or a private attorney had been looking at this. Yeah, I just think, but it's hard to say. I mean, attorneys tried to come in and were blocked, so it's really hard to recreate a what if, a what if version of this conservatorship. I'm just glad that we're here now, And I'm trying to get, my comments keep jumping. I'm sorry that they're jumping. Sam just posted a lioness. He keeps doing that after court, which I really like. Question, can black box security be charged for the illegal recording? It kind of depends on everything that went on behind the scenes as to who would be the person, whether it would be the company, whether it would be the head of the company, whether it would be the person who placed the device. There's a lot of unknowns for me to say this person did this. But yes, the recording can have consequences. So let's see. I'm going to get to a few more questions and then I do have to go. Let's see. Oh, Cynthia asked Law Nerds, what is Black Box? Black Box is the security company that has been providing security to Britney Spears and seems to have participated in the illegal recording of Britney, according to the New York Times documentary, which was a follow-up to Framing Britney Spears called Controlling Britney Spears. And my video on the channel that went up today covers a lot of that. So when you're done with this, you can go back to that. Question, how long realistically would they be able to comb through financials from K? It's going to take a while. It's 13 years. So it's going to take some time. But yes. Off topic, love the purple hair down and it looks lighter than usual. I think it's the light in the hotel and the way the iPad's picking it up. But yeah, it is. It just got redone. I don't know. Yes, it's been different colors all day long, depending on the lighting. So question, when do they get the paperwork? It should be soon. Question, do you think they'll investigate the original dementia filing? I still haven't seen that filing. I've heard mention of it, but there's never been a competency declaration. I know there was a medical report. I think they'll look into all of it. I mean, I really do think they'll dig into all of it. And if for nothing else, again, Rosengard's a former prosecutor. Prosecutors are nosy. Prosecutors are nosy. So that's just what it is. Trisha Lynn, yes, today was supposed to be a summary video, so that's what it was. Priscilla, question, can she fire everyone now? No. Britney is still under a conservatorship. She has her attorney. She has a successor, temporary conservator of the estate, and a temporary conservator of the person. And those people are allowed to have their people. So the new temporary conservator of the estate can hire their own legal counsel. It will get approved. So there will be a lot to come. But Rosengard also wants this conservatorship to wind up in the next 45 days. So I know, I speculate that if he doesn't get the court file, or if he doesn't see the court file turned over soon to the new conservator of the estate, that he will be like, look, we're trying to wind this up. Y'all know we're trying to wind this up. So can you just turn it over, please? Question, Tara, this is a great question. And then we are at almost an hour. To all of the over 6,000 of you that are here live, thanks. Do the likey, subscribey, YouTubey things I am supposed to ask about because I forget. If you haven't thumbs up the video, let me know where we're at with thumbs up. If you haven't liked the video, like it. We've got to counteract Dad Spears disliking the video. I'm teasing. Why was he just suspended and not kicked off? This is the first step. So he was temporarily suspended, and then there is notice for today was notice for a hearing to terminate. That hearing need to be noticed with a certain period of time. That next hearing is set for November. And with that next hearing being set for November, Rosengard did ask the court, can we stipulate, can we agree to a termination and file the paperwork instead of having a hearing for termination? I think that's what will happen. I think that's what should happen. I think Dad Spears doesn't want to pay to go through another hearing. So Yep. Wendy B, thank you so much. Thank you guys. We can get to at least 3,000 likes, you guys. That was only half of the people that are in here. Dinner's ready. Question, do you think Ted Cruz's speech yesterday had anything to do with the decision today? Probably not. I would imagine the judge hasn't even seen it. I have not had a chance to watch it. Also, just kind of, once again, conference busy. But no, I mean, it's really not their place. The federal government, it can't easily tell California courts how to run business in California courts. Bonnie, is he suspended? Oh, once he's suspended, he's not getting paid. And they're going to still fight over the back legal fees. So no, he's not getting paid. Oh, we got to 3K. Yay. Perfect. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for being law nerds. Look, I'm going to keep covering this. When we get the minute orders, I'll go over the minute orders. I will share them on social first before I go live, because I will probably not be live again until I get back home, which is going to be a little bit. There's no Friday Night Live this week because I am here at Vid Summit. What a crazy, crazy day. I have a busy day of recording tomorrow. I present tomorrow as well. So I'm going to go rest my voice before I go out with the other speakers for the conference this evening. I will see you around social. I'm going to try to snag a picture with Mr. Beast while I'm there, so follow me over on the Instagram if you want to see that, at the Emily D. Baker all over social media. So I will keep you updated quickly on social. Thank you for all of you that are Patreons. I will definitely be doing an I Have Thoughts episode shortly for you, shortly once I get home. By the way, if you are not a Patreon, look, it bills the first of the month. We're almost at October 1st. Just wait till October 1st. We're at the 29th. If you do it today, it will bill you again in 2 days. So just wait till the 1st. Set an alarm. Come join the Patreon. But for those of you that are, thank you very much. And text Emily if you want to get notified when I go live, if you don't trust YouTube to have your bells and whistles on. And that is what it is. So I am going to go. Thank you, mods. Thank you, law nerds. I appreciate you. Woo! Britney gets a huge fucking win, and I am so excited. Thank you. I will see you guys all in the next one. I appreciate you for being here. All right, let's see if I can tap this without just fat fingering in front of my camera. Not really. not well.
Hey there. If we haven't met yet, connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.